does anybody remember the names of the 2 accounts that we talked about? Anybody want to virtually raise their hand and tell me what are the 2 accounts that we talked about last lesson? Can anybody remember? Oh, I saw Aubrey first.
A savings account and a checking account.
Yeah, nice job. Round of applause. I'm sure that's what you were going to say too, Ian and Eric, but excuse me. Yes, that is correct. So when you guys go to the bank, or even some of you may even have a savings account now, which is super awesome. But when you guys go to the bank, when you're a little bit older, maybe, or when you get a job and you need a bank account, you will be offered those 2 bank accounts. So remember how I told you guys that a savings account is not connected to a card? So you can't really spend straight from your savings account. Yeah. You remember that? Okay, most of you do. So a checking account, when you open a checking account, that's where most of your money is in that account that you pay for things with. So bills, items, purchases, whatever it might be. And that account is connected to a debit card. It's also connected to a checkbook. So when you open a checking account, you can order checkbooks, and they will be in your name. They will have your name and address on it, and they will have your checking account number on it, and you can directly write checks to pay for things as well. So I just kind of wanted to connect that between what we're doing now and what we learned last time. Haley, did you have a question or comment?
I'm getting my savings account for my birthday, which is less than 2 weeks now.
That's a great birthday gift. Nice. I know. I love to hear when you guys already have savings accounts opened. And don't worry, for those of you who don't, I didn't until I was a little bit older. But the quicker you can get it, if you're making any type of money, even your birthday money, the better it is to start saving. But let's get into this presentation. So I already asked you guys this, but so you don't have to do this, but hopefully some of you guys are familiar with the word checkbook. Maybe you've seen one before. A lot of you have one with you now. That is your junior achievement one. And maybe you've seen your parents or your guardians' checkbooks. Does anybody want to describe to me or take a good guess what a checkbook is or what it does? Let's try Orion. Am I saying that right?
No.
Dang it. How do I say it?
Orion.
Oh, duh. Okay. Sorry, Orion. Go ahead.
Describe what it is. A checkbook is, from what I've seen my dad do with it, write a name down, the amount of money you're gonna give, and who you're gonna give it to.
Yes. So you are correct. So you guys will see when we start to go write one, it is used to write down how much money you are paying for something or paying another person. And you're writing that down on a check in your checkbook. So that was correct, Orion. Thank you. Lindsay, do you have something that you want to add? Or
yeah,
did
also okay. It's like if you don't have enough cash or a credit card or anything like that, then you can do a check instead.
Yeah, so it is an alternate payment method. Yeah, so if the place that you are spending your money at or purchasing something from or gifting somebody money for a birthday, if you don't have cash on you, you can definitely write a check or use a check. However, you have to make sure that the place that you're buying something from accepts checks. Not every retail store does. So it's something that you guys have to check. Checks are, I don't want to say outdated because they're not. I still use them to pay my rent, to pay certain utilities. Sometimes you have to use checks, but most places accept debit cards. So you just have to double check, or debit and credit. So you have to double check that they accept checks. I saw someone else have their hand up, but it must have went down. So yeah, those are all great explanations of a check. So thanks you guys for, again, prefacing the lesson that's about to take place. So we are going to talk about a personal check right now. So you guys have your checkbook, right? Yep. Okay, so if you kind of flip through that, just take a look at the checks that are in there. Those are personal checks. So the checkbook that you guys have in your hands right now, that is your personal checkbook. So there are different types of checks. So I do want to talk about this one first because these are the ones that you are going to practice writing today. Okay. So personal check is connected to your checking account. So I know you guys don't have a checking account right now, but technically through the BizTown simulation, you would kind of open a bank account and your checkbook that you guys are holding right now would be connected to that. But just for today, we're using it as an example, and you will be writing in it, but it's connected to your checking account. And it's usually, well, it's a written order from your bank to another account, another person, another business, just to pay a certain amount of money. So let's say you guys go to the store and you buy something at Target. Okay, if Target accepts checks, you can totally write a check. I'll show you how to fill it out today. And then that money would be deducted from your checking account. So you can use personal checks to buy things and to pay bills and all that good stuff. Does anyone have any questions about personal checks? We're going to dive deeper into it a little bit, but if you do, you can of course raise your hand or just throw it in the chat. So something to be cautious about when you guys are using checks or writing checks is that same thing goes for when you use a debit card, which we will talk about, I think, in 2 lessons from now. We'll talk more about debit cards and how they work, but if you're writing a check, you need to make sure that you have enough money in your account to cover that check. So if you have $20 in your checking account and you're writing a check for a $50 item, that check is not going to go through, or it is going to go through and it's going to take even more money out of your account. You will then be in the negative and you will usually face a really high fee. So you owe even more money. And what this is called, when you guys write a check and you don't have enough money to cover it, it's called a bounced check, or the check is going to bounce. So I know it's kind of a silly term, but just think of that little guy that I have bouncing on the screen. And I want you to remember that term for when somebody writes a check on insufficient funds. Does that make sense to you guys? Thumbs up? Yes? Okay, awesome. So what I want you to think about right now, and you don't necessarily have to answer this, I just kind of want you to think about it. Where do you guys know where a family's income comes from? So income meaning the money that they make, the money that they use to pay for things, to buy things, to feed their family. Another interchangeable word could be salary. Lindsay, you want to offer an answer?
It could be their jobs, or they could earn something from someone.
Yes. So typically, totally, that is correct. So typically it is their job. It's their employer that pays them. They've gotten a job at this point, and that is usually what earns them their family's income. Haley, you want to offer another definition or something else about it?
It comes from winters in my mom's kitchen.
Will you say that one more time? I couldn't quite hear you.
My mom owns a kitchen, so it comes from winters each month.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So there are totally different ways that a family can make an income, and everybody's family does it differently. So sometimes people own businesses and they don't even have to work. They just have to be a manager of that business, or they have employers or employees beneath them, and they make money off of the business, or they go to work themselves, right? So what I'm trying to tie in here with this question is, and yes, Dylan, you're correct, is that at work, you guys get a paycheck when you work. How many of you guys know what a paycheck is? Raise your hand. You've heard of it, you know what it is, or maybe you're just familiar with it. Yeah. Kaden, you want to explain to me what a paycheck is? Oh, someone wants to.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
So a paycheck is basically like, say your manager or whoever you work for, I believe this is it. No, it's
It's okay. You know what? I put you on the spot there. You can you can throw it in the chat if you find it.
I got
Okay.
so much.
It's all good. It's all good. If you remember your thought, throw it in the chat. You're muted now, so I can't hear you. But sorry, my cat wants to really get in the screen today. I have some other hands though, so throw it in the chat if you think of it. Yeah, Kaden. So that's actually a really great point. So Kaden said, does it come from the bank? ? And your paycheck does go to the bank. However, it doesn't come from the bank. Okay. So it comes from your employer, right? But it does go to the bank and into your bank account, which we'll talk about something in just a second that has to do with that. I do see a lot of hands though. So let's try Bella. Bella, you want to offer your explanation of a paycheck?
Yeah. So I've been taking notes, and what I think is a certain amount of money you get paid from your boss or something every like certain amount of days or time.
Mm-hmm.
Like you get paid your paycheck. So say you have a job and you get your paycheck like every month, and you get like $100. That's your paycheck for.
Yep. You got it. That was a great definition. I see so many hands, and I appreciate your guys' hands. I think that I'm just going to move on after that definition, just so I can explain to you guys what it is. But thank you so much for the participation. That was a great definition. Yeah. So you guys heard. So it is something that you get when you work. Okay. And sometimes people get paid every week. Sometimes they get a paycheck every 2 weeks, every month. It totally depends on your employer and how they choose to do that. But that was perfect. So a paycheck is most people's sole source of income, and it can come from any form of work, right? There are just loads of things that people make money off of nowadays, obviously legally, but there are many different things that people do. So a paycheck is actually different than a personal check. So we just talked about a personal check, and a personal check is in your guys' checkbook. It comes in a checkbook. And remember, it's connected to your checking account at your bank, but a paycheck is a little bit different. Why don't you guys, Bella and Haley, you want to lower your guys' hands? I think because we moved on from the question, just so I can see others if they have a question. Thanks. So a payroll check is a written order, but instead it's coming from a company or an organization that someone works for, and they are putting it in their employee's name, so the person who is working for them, and it pays their salary. So a person's salary, or another term, income, is the money that people earn for their work. So you guys got it. So one thing to note about paychecks is they do come in a paper form, and they look kind of similar to the checkbooks that you guys have. However, of course, they do look different because it's coming from an employer. It's formatted a little bit differently, and there are other things that are included on your paycheck, like taxes coming out and all that good stuff. But it is important to know that there are two types of ways that people receive their paycheck. So when you guys get a job, or maybe even some of you have a job, I don't know. But when you get hired and you go through that first initial employment period, when you're filling out forms, giving them your personal information, all that good stuff, sometimes they will give you a form for direct deposit. Any of you guys have heard of what direct deposit is? Is that a familiar term to any of you guys? No? Some of you? Okay. I'm seeing most of you shaking your head. So direct deposit, you are still getting a paycheck. However, you are not getting it in paper form. So a lot of times you can just wait to get paid, and your boss or whoever is in charge of your business's finances will hand you a paper check on payday, right? And you will take that paper check, your paycheck, and you will go to the bank, and you will wait in line, and you will deposit it into your account. Or you can use a banking app and take a picture of it and deposit it into your account. However, direct deposit allows you to fill out this paper, and if you put in your bank's checking account number, then your company can just put that money straight into your account. You don't need the paper. You don't need to wait. You don't need to take it to the bank. It literally goes and is wired directly into your account on payday. Does that make sense, you guys? So direct deposit is very convenient. You don't have to wait around for a check. You don't have to take the check in or take a picture of the check. It's just straight into your bank account. And so you will have to know, though, that checking account number. And that checking account number is not necessarily private. You can give it to your employer. However, I wouldn't be giving it out to everybody. The only thing people can do with your checking account number really is give you money into your account, because you can't take money out just knowing someone's checking account number. But I would still advise not giving it out just to random people or people that you don't trust. Just your employer Or, you know, if a family member wants to deposit money into your account, you're okay to give them your checking account number, etc. Does that make sense, you guys? Just to be safe. Okay, here's the fun part. We are going to write some personal checks now. So we hope that you guys kind of learned the difference between a personal check and a paycheck, right? So personal check comes from your own account, your checkbook, you're writing it to pay for things or pay other people. Paycheck comes from your employer and is paying you, and it's going into your account. So it's actually giving you money. When you write personal checks, you're taking money out. You are withdrawing money. Okay. So let's take a look at this check right here. It is filled out. It is from this woman named Lisa Howard. Looks like she went to Target and she's working from home like many of us. So she realized that her old desk chair was super uncomfortable and it was giving her back problems. So she needs to buy a new one. So she heads to her local Target, the best place ever, and finds one. And it's pretty affordable. It's $30.50. She decides that she wants to pay with a check. I don't know if it's because she forgot her other forms of payment, but she's going with a check today. So this is what a filled out check would look like. So let's kind of go through this a little bit, and then I will have you guys fill one out to yourselves. So, of course, on the name line, you want to write your first and last name. So she's got Lisa Howard. And then you want to fill out the date. The date is always the day that you write the check, the day that you are purchasing something. Okay, so when you guys write it, you will write today's date. It's just for pretend, but you guys will use that date. The account number. So her account number we see is 083. First of all, that is a very short account number. I don't believe that's realistic. Your guys' checking account numbers will be much longer when you open your own checking account. And I will say most checks have them pre-written out. So on every single checkbook, when you order one, it's already printed there, because who wants to write a 10-digit number every single time? Not me. But for the sake of this, she has a 3-digit number, so she just wrote it down. Now, this is where it gets interesting. When you write a check, the business that you are buying something from, who you are paying, or the person you're paying, wherever your money is going towards, that is what you write on the pay to the order of line. So in this case, she's not going to write chair. She's not paying the chair. She's paying Target for the chair. So she would write Target there. Okay. And then that little money box is, of course, the amount. And then you have to actually write out the amount again. And you have to write it out in words and letters. The reason why this is because let's say you have really bad handwriting and you write out $30.50 and I'm the cashier and I literally can't read your writing. It's helpful to have another line to reference and try to figure out what that amount says. Okay, it's just a security thing. It just double checks what your amount is and make sure that it is correct. Okay, so the way that you do that on a check is you literally write out $30 and don't forget the word and then whatever change that you have, if you have cents in your amount, so in this case we have 50 cents, you're always writing it over 100. So the denominator should always be 100 because there are 100 cents in a dollar. So whatever your cent amount is, it's always over 100. Even if it's just $30 flat, you write 0 over 100. Does that make sense, you guys? Yes, yes, yes. Can I get some thumbs up? You are not writing this one in your checkbook. So we're just looking at this one. And the last thing I want to point out is in the memo, on the memo line, yeah, Kaden, it can be kind of confusing. I agree. Writing checks is not easy, but that's why I'm going to have you guys practice and it'll get easier. So on the memo line is where you write what you purchased, either the product, the service. If you're paying somebody else, I think that it would be why you're paying them. Like if you're giving a check to a relative, I would write birthday money. Just reminding yourself, it's giving you a note of what this money is going towards. And then of course your signature on the signature line. If you guys don't know how to write cursive, just print your first and last name. It's just an extra way to verify that you are writing this check and it is in your name. How do you guys feel about this? We feel okay? We feel good? Do you think we're ready to try it ourselves? Yeah, do you guys have any questions before I move on? Haley, you have a question?
Were we
supposed to write one down while you were explaining it?
No, not yet. I will have you guys do that in just a second, but I just wanted you to see an example first. Okay. All right. So the next slide is basically exactly what I just said. So it's really telling you where things go. So take a second to look over this and then we'll go ahead and have you guys do it. So make sure that you have your checkbook handy. You got a writing utensil and you are ready to do this. Oh, Bella, you already wrote it. You know what? That's okay. If you accidentally already wrote the last one, it's more practice and you'll be even more prepared for this one. Owen, did you have a comment or question?
Yeah, which like page do we go on?
So in your checkbook, I want you guys to, there should be something at the front, like it looks like a mini journal where you put your transactions in. We're going to talk about that, but I want you to bypass that for now. I want you to start finding the ones that look like, let me show you on the screen, that look like this, the blank checks, the personal checks. So they should be after that first little check register journal. Yes, I see some of you showing me it. Kinley, what's up?
I was wondering what our account number is.
Yes, I'm going to explain that to you. Good question. Okay, so basically I want you guys to flip to the first blank check, find it. And this is what you guys are going to do. So I'm going to give you like 2 minutes, maybe more if we need the time, to write down number 1 as if you are the person purchasing it. So before you start, what you're going to write for the date is today's date. Now I want you to look on your check or look on the screen right now. I want you to look at the date line up in the right hand corner. You're probably wondering why there is a line and why it says 20 and then there's another line. So this check is formatted a little differently. The way that you write the date on this one is on the left line of the number 20, the line to the left of 20. You're going to write the month and the day. Why there is a 20 is it's actually the first 2 digits of the year. It's already filling it out for you. So all you have to write on the line to the right of 20 is the last 2 digits of this year. So all you would write on the line to the right of 20 is what? Someone say it for me.
21.
21. All right. Does that make sense, you guys? Yeah. So you're going to write today's date and your account number, just for the purpose of this example, is at the top. It is 083. So what I want you guys to do right now is I want you to write a check as if you bought a gift from the Main Street gift shop for $5.50. Okay, so I'm not going to show you the formatting. You're going to have to try to do this one by yourself. Just try to remember how to do it. And we'll do this again. So if you do make a mistake, no worries. Hopefully you can correct it on the next example.
No, the blood work has to be done 2 days ahead.
So
2 or 3 days
go
ahead
ahead
of time, so that
and
can-
fill it out. Try your best. I will give you guys a minute or so to do this. Okay, if you have any questions, chat me.
Sorry.
I see some of you really quick, sorry, saying that yours says 001 at the top right. That is not the date, that's the check number. So your checkbook keeps track of how many checks you have. So they're going to be numbered 001, 002, 003 as you flip through it. It's okay. It doesn't matter which one you're writing it on for now. Just for the purpose of this, it says 002. Okay. It's just the check number. And Kaden, you are correct. You write 083 on the account number line. That is an abbreviation for
that's
account
on.
number.
Yeah, tomorrow we're trying to speak.
Oh, Ryan, did you have a question? Your
Oh,
mic
sorry.
keeps unmuting. No, it's okay. I just want to make sure you didn't have a question. So Aubrey, I can't tell you. I want you guys to do your best to try to figure out where each detail goes, and then we'll go over it, and then you'll have another chance to try it again, okay? So Kaden, something should be going on the memo. So I wouldn't make it up. I would take from the question Try to figure out what goes where. I know it might be a little tricky this first round, but do your best. And when you guys are finished, just look up and make eye contact with me so I know you're ready to move on. So someone asked, what are we writing the check to? Look in the question, the first question, and try to figure that out. Where are you making a purchase? Okay, nice. I'll give you guys like another minute or so. Kinley, what's up?
So it says 1 and 2. For number 2, are we doing another check?
We are, but don't start just yet. So once you finish one,
Okay.
just wait until I reveal the answers for it, okay? But good question. All right, how are we feeling, guys? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready and give me a thumbs down if you need some more time. Okay, looks like some of us need some more time. It's okay. This is the con of using checks, in my opinion, because they take a while to fill out. And then you have people waiting behind you in line and they're like, can this person hurry up? And you're just trying to fill out your check. So, but you usually get really fast at it when you do it after a while. Dylan, do you mean, so do we pick from one of the two questions up there? You're only supposed to be doing number 1, the one that's highlighted right now. Okay, I answered your question, cool. All right, guys, 30 more seconds, wrap up your writing. Kinley, did you have a question or is that hand old? Is that old?
It's the old hand, sorry.
Okay, no worries. All right, you guys, let's see what this check is supposed to look like. It's okay if you didn't finish. This one is kind of like a practice round. But here we go. Let's see if you put the details in the right places. Actually, first, I want you guys to show me your checks. Flash me your checks. Let me see how filled out they look. They look beautiful. Yes, amazing, you guys. I see all of those lines filled out. Perfect. Oh, I'm so proud of you guys. Okay. Oh, try not to write on the screen, guys. I saw someone write on the screen. I should disable that. That was my bad. Okay, let's look at what this check's supposed to look like. I used my name and I made a bit of a mistake. I didn't put my last name. You are supposed to put your first and last. That was my bad. But hopefully you guys put the Main Street gift shop on the right line. Remember, whoever you are paying, the business, the company, or the person, that is what goes on that pay to the order of line. Okay? And this is for $5.50. So you do have to write $5.50 over 100. Now remember, what goes on the memo line is a little note about what you purchased, the product or the service that you purchased, where your money is going towards, what you're paying for. So in this case, it was just a gift. It wasn't super specific. And then of course you want to write your signature, the account number, and the date. So the reason why I have this weird dotted line going through my third line down where I wrote out the amount is kind of a personal reason. I'm going to explain to you guys. You might want to do it, maybe not, but I had a lot of space left on that line after I wrote $5.50 over 100. And in case I drop my check somewhere and someone tends to pick it up and there's room for them to write in more of an amount or write in an amount and they go and try to cash that check for that amount and it might get taken out of my bank account, I write a line through the rest of the line with my pen so that nobody else can write anything there. That is the final amount. It is kind of it's something I take for security reasons. And it's totally a personal thing. So it's up to you guys to do that. You don't have to, but I do it so that, no other amount can be written there. Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah. So just in case you're wondering what my weird dotted line was, it's not supposed to be dotted. It's just supposed to be a line. How did we do, you guys? Did we do pretty well? Did we do or did we not do so well on this first one? Okay. We're figuring it out. I see a lot of thumbs ups and some That's okay. Writing checks is not easy, but I have a feeling you guys are going to kill it this next round. You're going to do amazing. So you guys ready to do the second one? Yeah, flip to the next check. Let's do it.